In this video today, I'll be talking about how you can eat carbs daily, lose weight, and keep it off. Hi guys, welcome to Moon Torch channel. I'm a mom of four. I'm 40 years old. I had my own struggles throughout the years, how to lose weight after pregnancies, how to keep it off, how to be motivated and eat healthy and sustainable while having a busy lifestyle. Along the way, I've learned a lot. Carbs always came into play. Should I have more carbs? Should I have less carbs? When should I have the carbs? I tried all the diets. I tried keto diet. I tried high fat diet. I tried high carb diet. And I've learned a lot along the way, but carbs were the macronutrient that I was the most confused about, wasn't sure if I'm doing the right thing, and kept switching back and forth. And I definitely went through a roller coaster, but I did learn a lot of things along the way and how things change while we age. It's not the same when we were 20s, it's not the same in 30s, and hitting 40, the game is changing and I'm changing with it. Carbs are not created equal. When you start thinking about carbs, what comes to your mind? Maybe that croissant for breakfast, maybe the pasta for lunch, possibly cooking some rice for dinner. Yes, those are carbs, but again, carbs are not created equal. There are carbs that made out of white refined flour, and that converts into sugar in your body. But if you think about all the carbs do convert into sugar in your body, but it has a different effect on how your body will respond. Is it a high spike of sugar? Is it a low spike of sugar? Will it give a lot of energy? Will it maintain the energy throughout the day? It's all created differently. If to name all kinds of different carbs, there are white refined sugar carbs, there is vegetable carbs, root carbs, and that is different. Um, Vegetables that grow on the ground or under the ground, or we're talking about fruits, or we're talking about berries. All that is carbs, and your body reacts differently on all of those carbs. So, what carbs are we talking about? Do you have to eliminate one section of the carbs and you keep the rest? No, you don't have to go that way. I don't like to be very strict about this, but I do follow kind of an 80-20 rule. Let's look at the carbs that have fiber versus they don't have fiber. If the carbs don't have fiber, it will spike your sugar high. It will give you immediate energy. You gotta be able to do something about that. You need to do something about with that energy. When the carbs have a lot of fiber, then it will slow down. It will digest very slowly. It will give you energy throughout a few hours and it will be sustainable. You're not going to crash. You're not going to have a spike. It's nice and steady. For me personally, I do have to watch what kind of carbs I have as far as how much fiber. Fiber is great. But personally, for me, fiber will make me bloat, gassy, very uncomfortable. And that's another episode we can talk about fiber and how to go about it. Because when I was in 20s, I had no problem to eat all the fiber I wanted. I had no problems, no issues. Now being 40, I have to think about it. I have to think twice about this. When you look at for example, packaged food, when you pick out your bread, your tortillas, your any kind of carb product, and you look at the nutrition fact and you look at the carbs, you look at the fiber. If fiber is very low, it's going to spike your sugar. It's not exactly on what you want, but do we have to throw away completely that food group? It's a treat. It doesn't have to 100% go away from our diet, but do we have to be careful with it? Do we need to portion it? Yes. Moderation is the key. If we look at veggies versus fruit, veggies are carbs, fruit are carbs. Veggies will not spike your blood sugar as much as fruit will, and but fruit and veggies have a lot of fiber. When we look at veggies, we have, for example, cucumbers, tomatoes, snap peas, something that will be watery, lettuce, like watery foods. They have a little bit of carbs, they have a lot of water, and it has a significant amount of fiber. It will not spike your sugar high. The other source of vegetable carbs, we can talk about potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, um, red beets, root vegetables. They have a lot of fiber, good fiber, yes. Will they have a lot more carbs than a cucumber? Absolutely. And there's a time and place for those. There's a time for cucumbers, tomatoes, because if you fill up your plate with cucumbers, tomatoes, but will you have enough calories? You won't have enough calories just to stick with that. And it's going to be a little bit boring. And when you look at fruit, fruit has a lot of fiber. It has a lot of natural sugar. Yes, it's natural sugar. I see people either they look at fruit as it's natural sugar. It is a fruit. I can have as much as I want, and every single snack they will grab fruit. They'll grab pineapple, apple, mango, and so on. And that is still sugar, and it converts sugar in your body. It's not that you cannot have those fruits. It's better to maybe to have it in moderation or time it a little bit better. But having fruit as just a snack on its own, it's not going to be ideal. If I want more fruit in my diet, something more sweet, I will throw in more berries. If I'm not looking for more spike of an energy, I see young influencers on YouTube, on Instagram. They have these fantastic, delicious recipes that will not be healthy. They're not healthy recipes, but they will do brioche bread and making into a French toast and out of that. And here's a taco. I can eat this all day since I'm working out. I can eat whatever I want. That's the sacrifice I'm doing. As long as I hit the gym, as long as I hit the cardio, build my muscles, building great. That's building muscles are great, but when you come back and say you can eat whatever you want now, it can work when you're in 20s. When you're in your 20s, you can throw in so much in your body. Your body will consume it, it will use it to energy, maybe store some fat. Your body's still working on the best. It's going through the roof. You think you eating hot dog, you eating French fries, and that's like your daily diet. And I'm still fit, and I look wonderful. Things are changing when you in your mid 30s and going up to your 40s. Your body will not react that way. The body is like, I can't take care of you anymore. You got to take care of yourself now. You got to be on board. Let's work together 4 days a week, 5 days a week. Eat clean. Look at those carbs on what you're going to have. When are you going to have it? One of the carbs I do like, one of the carbs I do like is sourdough bread. That is my favorite. That is actually like the only bread I will have, sourdough bread. I do look for a real sourdough bread. If I can't find it, I'll make it myself. And that is a long process with the fermentation and yada yada. I've done that. It is delicious. It's absolutely worth it. I'll bake the loaf. It's nice and hot and crunchy from the outside. Very soft and delicious. I will break the rule and I'll slice it up ahead of time when it's still a little bit steaming. But the reason I choose to eat sourdough bread is versus for other breads, even whole wheat, uh, multi-grain bread, is because it's fermented. It went through a process and it's a lot easier in my stomach. How much carbs do you need? What happens if you cut out all the carbs? You will lose weight. Absolutely, you will lose weight. But what kind of weight are you losing? You're losing water weight, consuming less calories. And consuming less calories, that is the reason why we lose weight. It doesn't matter. Do we have a bowl of pasta and that's it? Do we have a bowl of protein and that's it? Do we have a bowl of vegetables and that's it? As long as it's less calories than you need, you're going to lose weight. Is that sustainable for you to go in a caloric deficit with zero carbs? It's not sustainable for me. It just doesn't work for me. What happens if you start eating carbs? You put them back in your diet after not eating for so long. You will gain weight. Not the fat right away. That's not going to spike up. You lost your weight, you lost your fat, but you will gain weight because the water retention will come back. That's the key here. Think of sustainability, what you can do over and over and over and will not get tired of it. I absolutely just couldn't stick to zero carb diet. I need the carbs just because sometimes I will do a hard workout. I need more energy. And it really is just more fun sometimes to eat the carbs. I don't want to be anywhere with friends or family or with kids, restaurant, where I have a food group on where I cannot eat. This is it. This is bad for me. This is not in my diet. It's completely out. I'll look the other way. I can't. I can't do that. It's not sustainable. I tried keto diet. I tried low carb diet. It's not working for me. The approach I take right now with carbs, then and now, then it was different. When I was in my 20s, I ate all the carbs, my body didn't care. I was still trying to do different diets just because I was having water retention. I wanted to get fitter, I want to get better. And sometimes I would do diet just to figure it out of what it is about the diet that everyone's talking about. How does it feel on my body? What does it do in my body? What does it do to my body? And is there a takeaway? I will not focus on my carbs. I will not take a plate and put protein and then my fats and then my carbs. I've been through that. I've went to twice. I went to a trainer. I wanted to know exactly what I need to eat, macro by macro, where are my numbers, how much protein I need, how much carbs I need. And I thought they know what they're doing, they will give me exact numbers, and I will take that, I'll follow to the T, I'll follow exactly, I will look at the best shape of my life. And I thought I'll just magically be this super fit body. Well, that didn't happen. I was bloated, I was more confused, it wasn't working. When I do my plate, I focus on protein. Protein and then plant-based food. Carbs, I'll find them. I'll find them here and there. They will come to me. And vegetables, don't forget, that is carbs. You're going to have those carbs. When I did follow the coach's diet, one problem issue I had is they said protein, here's your macros, that's the number you need to hit. Here are your carbs, you need to hit your carbs, of course. And veggies, it was, there was no number for veggies. It's just plant-based food. And they would say, well, the calories on veggies is negligible. That is correct. If you take a lettuce, if you look at the salad, you look at the cucumber, yes, the calories on those are negligible. And I will either put a lot on my plate because I will think I would want more veggies on my plate because vegetables is what my body really, really needs to optimize my health, to have that blood test coming out great. You need your vegetables. You'll hear it from every doctor, eat your veggies. So I wanted to eat your veggies. And my plate was already full with so much protein, so much carbs, fat somewhere around that. And I felt like I don't have space for veggies. I can't fill that much up in my stomach. And then my question was in between is, okay, here are carbs, here's protein. I need to have some vegetables, and they don't have any calories because it takes more to burn calories when you consume them. But I cook my veggies. So I would saute them. There's a little bit of oil, there's a little bit of this. And then I add a sweet potato. I will add um, beets. I'll add beets to my vegetables. I'm gonna add some corn. And how does that doesn't have calories? It does. You will not eat raw all the time. You won't eat vegetables all the time in a state where they're completely fresh, where they don't have calories. You're gonna cook them. And when you're gonna cook them, there will be more calories in smaller portion, not timing of carbs. The way I time is one of my strong rules are don't eat carbs on an empty stomach unless it's a lighter carb where it's cucumber, tomato, um, snap peas, lettuce. I'm talking about more high glycemic food that will spike your sugar, that will be giving you a lot of energy. That food doesn't come in first. And then, especially high glycemic food, I won't do it on an empty stomach. And when I say I don't do it, I'm not talking about 100%. I'm talking about 80/20. I'll try to stick to that because it's not that hard on a weekend where I know I want to have a croissant in the morning instead of just eggs with a salad. I'll have my eggs in the salad first and then croissant after that, or maybe eggs on top of my croissant. Have protein in there. So, again, when I say I don't do it, I never mean 100%. Vegetables are my main source of carbs, and I do watch out for the vegetables that make me bloat when I eat veggies. For example, in the morning, I will have more lighter veggies. I'll have back to the cucumbers, tomatoes. Avocado is always in the game. Always. I love my avocado. That's my fat source. Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. That's the foods that will make me bloat more. And I will stick that into more of a dinner. If I have those vegetables in the morning or midday, then throughout the day, for the rest of the day, I'm bloated. And I don't like that feeling. I try to avoid that. So I'm trying to time my what vegetables I have morning, lunch, or dinner. When it comes to root vegetables, I tend to have that also more of a dinner time. They make me sleepy. They'll make me more um, tired. I want to rest. I want to relax. I don't want to have that before my workout. That will be at the end of the day where I'm ready to go to bed. I'm ready to relax. I'm not worried about digesting the food. So when I do mashed potatoes, that's I don't avoid that. I don't do it every day. But when I do mashed potatoes, I make them in protein style. I'll have protein embedded in the mashed potatoes. If I have that lunchtime, it won't be a big portion, it will be a much smaller portion. When I feel low energy, I will tend to grab maybe the sourdough bread. Helps me a lot. Sourdough bread with eggs. There's protein, there are carbs. That will give me enough energy to put me back on track. On a Good Friday or on a football day where my favorite team is playing, do I follow those rules? No, no. I will make pizza. I will But when I do make pizza, first of all, the homemade pizza is far much better, tastier, and healthier, less calories, and it's the best. Maybe at some point I'll share my recipe. One of the things I like to eat is watermelon. Watermelon does have a high glycemic index, but it's also has a lot of fiber, also has a lot of water. And when I eat that after my protein with vegetables, after my meal, then I will have, for example, some fruit. There are a few days out of the week where I will do really hard workout. And this is when I really choose. I know at lunchtime, I do need to have that carb where it's going to give me a lot of energy. So after the meal, I'll add some apples, some grapes, some sort of fruit that will give me the energy enough to really perform great. If I just have protein in my salad or light veggies, sauteed veggies, and I'll try to perform that, that's not going to work. I'm going to crash. So I do need at those times to, before my workout, to take something that will give me that spike of energy. Again, some protein and some vegetables will be great if you're doing very high intense workout in the morning, then have higher content of carbs in the morning. If you're doing somewhere after lunchtime, have higher carbs at lunchtime. Just do it prior. Hey, if you love this talk today and it was informative, here's another video where I show you 5 tips on how to lose weight. Check it out.